Hi, Madhu. Welcome
Hi,
to today's
Namrata.
show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
I'm really,
hosting me.
thank you, most welcome, and I'm excited to have you. Also, the topic that you selected today, Atomic Habits. This is one of my favorite books, and I am really excited to discuss this topic with you.
Even I am really excited, Namrata, because what I feel with respect to this book is this is one of the most practical book in order for you to bring right habits into your life. So uh, it also brings me a lot of excitement, and I feel there is so much to share. There is so much to learn. So yeah.
Okay, so Madhu, let's start. And first, I would like to hear from you about the concept of atomic habits.
Yeah. So when it comes to the concept of atomic habits, a lot of people think that habits are something like, we know what habits are. Habits are nothing but some behaviors. If it is repeated time and again, it becomes so automatic that you will not even think a lot before doing it. That is habits. But atomic habits is something like it is the minutest behavior that you're taking. For example, habit can be something like you're going for a run for 3 kilometers, maybe. So, a simple atomic habit is just running for 1 minute, which means you are making it as simple as possible so that you can build on it rather than that itself feels like a burden for you. So, that is atomic habit, a simple habit on which everything will build eventually.
And in general, how are habits formed? Do they take time? Like, how are they formed?
So, habits, a lot of people think when it comes to habit is it depends on the number of days. Like you can see number of lot of people asking this question: How many days will I take to form this as a habit? But the right question you need to ask is how many times are you repeating it so that it becomes an habit? For example, some habits take a very little time for to form. If it is very simple habit, if you repeat it, 10, 15 times, it might become a habit. For something very complicated, it might take a longer time. The number of times you repeat it, the faster it becomes your habit. That is one thing. And as you asked, how are habits formed? There is a very scientific approach. We think, okay, this habit is all about, okay, I'm doing it. And whenever you ask somebody, they'll be like, हाँ, आदत बन गया है. It
Uh,
has become a habit. But, there is a very scientific way where there are four different steps for any habit. There is a cue, there is a craving, there is a response, and reward. I'll explain each one of it. Cue is nothing but a trigger, which means even before the start of habit, in order for you to perform a habit, there is some trigger that has to come. For example, the minute your alarm rings, the alarm ringing is a cue, right? It is a cue that, okay, it is time or to wake up or something like that. So, this way, for any habit you're performing, although you're not very conscious of it, there is definitely a cue. Then comes a craving. Craving is a desire to act on something. For example, the minute you receive some notification on your phone, what is that? The cue is receiving the notification. What desire you have? Your desire is who texted you or what notification, from which app did you get the notification? What is it all about? The craving is to see or to know what it is there. That curiosity is the craving. The third thing is response. Response is you performing the habit. When it comes to phone notification, the when you get the notification, you opening that message is the craving. The response. And finally, it is reward. Reward is if the craving, which means the reason why you open that, the desire you had, if it is fulfilled, then you will be satisfied and chances are you will repeat the same thing again. If the response is not satisfied, you will not repeat it. I'll tell you one simple example. When we were young, we did not know that when we touch something hot put on the stove,
hmm.
that it will burn our hands. The first time we did not know, we touched it. Second time, we will not repeat it because the behavior hurt us. This is a very simple way of thinking that, if the end result is satisfying, chances are you will repeat it. If it is not good, you will not repeat it. As simple as that. Every habit goes through this four cycle: cue, craving, response, and reward. So this is how scientifically the habit is formed.
It's very interesting. I never thought habit would also have some scientific dynamics behind that.
Yes.
Okay, so
Even
and
I did not know this until I read that book. So this entire concept is taken from Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he has done such a wonderful job. So I would like to give credit before I even continue talking about. Yeah.
okay. So look, as you explained the process of how habits are formed, are good habits and bad habits both formed in same way, or is it?
Yes. 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 Both good habits and bad habits are formed in the same way. Nothing different. But every habit, for example, when it comes to different trigger, I'll tell you one simple thing. For someone who loves junk food, the minute they see the junk food, they'll feel attracted. They will feel like eating it. But for someone who does not like junk food, or they are not, when they see it, they do not want to take it. Trigger is the same, but the reaction is very different. And what exactly are habits? Habits are nothing but they are solutions to your day-to-day problems. Very simple solutions that you can do for the day-to-day problems you're facing. Which means the first time you were learning driving, it would take a lot of time, no? You were very careful about the brake, the accelerator, who is coming, all of that. But the more you repeat it, chances are you will not take so much energy to do that certain acts. That will become very automatic because your brain needs to conserve energy. It can't think of driving or even brushing your teeth 100 times in the same way. So it makes it very automatic. So, for example, you had some problem. I'll take an example that you came from work and you are very stressed. And what you saw a TV there, and you switched on the TV. And after you watched the TV, you felt good. And suddenly, because it felt good, next day you will repeat the same thing, the next day, the next day. And the more you repeat it, it becomes so automatic that you won't even think. The minute you come back from work, you will go and sit in front of TV. It was a solution because you wanted to feel relaxed. And you perform this habit. In the same way, somebody might do the different thing. When they come back, they want to feel relaxed. Instead of watching the TV, they might think of, okay, how do I feel relaxed? Or they might think of, okay, I might go for a run. So, as I told you, it is the solution to day-to-day problems that we are facing. The minute he goes for a run and that person feels relaxed, next day he might repeat the same thing. He might repeat the same thing. That's how same thing can form a good or a bad habit.
And while these habits are getting formed, what would be the role of the environment around you, of your family, friends, or infrastructure? Is it a driver in habit formation, or it's okay?
So what I have realized is your environment plays a very important role. Literally, it is like your environment can make you or break you. I'll give you one simple example from my own life. So there was a point in time, like, I am a UPSC IAS aspirant. So I was in Delhi. While I was preparing for this exam, the people around me, some people I do not want to take their names, they were not very serious on this preparation journey. What happened is no matter how much I was motivated, because I was constantly around them, somewhere that drive got reduced. Or I would say somewhere their behavior impacted my behavior. So your environment is directly impacting you. No amount of motivation, no amount of what you have can't help if the environment is not supporting you. For example, if you are someone who wants to, wake up really early in the morning, but your family may everybody eats dinner by 1 o'clock at night. How long can you resist it and can you get up in the morning? Your environment plays a very crucial role. Not just your social environment, even your physical environment. For example, if you are thinking, "Yeah, I want to read a book and I want to read," but if your book is stacked away somewhere very far from you, chances are you won't make that extra effort. Unless it is very important to you, there is some strong reason for you to make that extra effort, chances are you won't. So, if you make your environment friendly for you, chances are it is easy for you to perform any habit, good habit basically.
And is it possible to redesign the environment as per our requirement?
Yes, definitely we can do it. For example, if you are wanting to get into a habit of reducing your screen time, or you are wasting a lot of time on social media, phone, gadgets, and you want to reduce it, one of the best way you can do is by keeping those gadgets away from you. And tell you one simple way. If, for example, every night you're watching TV, what you can do is, that is not helping you, or even your phone. What you can do is you can keep your phone in the other room where you're not able to see it. The minute you enter your bed, you need to, keep it in your mind that this is my space to rest, not to watch TV or phone, scrolling your phone. So, as I'm telling you, one is keeping those things away. That's one thing. Another way is whatever you want to bring into your life, make it very accessible. For example, if you want to drink a lot of water, and the only way if you have to drink water is go to the filter, chances are you won't drink water more because it is already hard for you. So fill up the water bottles and keep it in multiple places where you are, where you tend to naturally walk around or where you usually use that place. So if you keep there, chances are it will be easier for you to form those habits. If you want to go to gym, make sure you keep those gym clothes and all of that very near so that it will make it easier for you to get into those habits. And when it comes to your bad habits, for example, if you want to reduce junk food, if if the minute you see something to it, if you are finding junk, chances are you will munch on it. Do not bring those to home at all. Matlab, if that is not possible, put them in a place where you can't see and put those healthy fruits and all right in the middle of the table so that you will be able to consume it. And that way it will be very easy.
And this junk food point, Bandhu, I can relate it so much because at workplace in cafeteria, they have posters of Pani Puri, Sev Puri, and whenever we go there, I just get those triggers and I feel like I want to have it. But when I'm working from home, like during weekday, I just don't realize that I want to have Pani Puri, Sev Puri. It's only because I see those posters I feel I
Exactly.
cannot resist.
See, the first thing is, first of all, your vision. It is the very strong cue, which means whatever you're able to see, that's a very strong trigger. And the minute you see it, even though you want to resist it, it is harder. So if you have to fight with your resistance, why not completely remove it rather than every day fighting with your resistance? If you're not able to see, it will be easier for you to follow it.
Correct,
And as you
correct.
rightly pointed, Pani Puri example, yeah.
Okay, so do we form like one habit at a time, or is it possible to form multiple habits together? And is it sustainable?
So one of the biggest problem with a lot of people is when they think of forming habit, they'll take 10 habits at a time. I want to do this also, this also, this also. When they do that, you might continue for a week at max because you're so motivated to do something. The minute there is something that comes up, or we can't expect life to be very smooth. Some things might come up, and that time you won't have that motivation. Chances are you'll forget all of it and you'll just go back to normal. So I would say, if you want to start with one simple habit, and eventually you can add one more habit, add one more habit. That way it will be easier for you to take ahead. So I would any day suggest, take one habit, make it bit consistent, and once you know you can follow it automatically, add one more.
And if you can explain this concept of habit stacking, how can it help us when we are trying to add more habits to our routine?
Yes. So habit stacking is such a wonderful concept. I'll tell you what, and I'll explain what it is in detail. So firstly is, a lot of people want to change their habits. One of them is I want to exercise more. I want to eat a lot more healthy. I want to connect with my family more. These are very vague sentences because there is no clarity here. When you say, I want to do it more, I want to do it more, when and where is not clear. Because it is not very clear, your mind is thinking that one day it will start doing it. It will not. So, what you can, it might do 1 or 2 days, but it will not become a habit. So, what you can do is, you can actually decide or have the clarity. I'll tell one experiment that was done. So there were 3 groups that were taken. Okay. And for one group, they told that you need to exercise every day for 7 days. That was the thing that was told. For second group, they did not just tell that, you need to exercise. They also gave them a material of why exercising is beneficial. And, they added the reasons for them to do it. In the third case, they did not just tell them why it is important, and they did not ask them just to track it. They also asked them when are they going to do it, and place and timing when they are going to do it. And because they were asked to decide on when and where, after a week of the experiment done, almost 90% of the third group had completed, or they were able to keep on track. But in case of the second group, although they were motivated, they were told they were not able to keep up because there was no clarity. We think we lack motivation. Problem is we lack clarity. So the minute we are clear on when to do it and where to do it, it will be easier. So habit stacking will give that clarity to you. How does it do? For example, you want to build a new habit of meditating and you don't know when to add it. You are going to pick a habit which you are already regular about. For example, you might be regularly working out, or you might be brushing your teeth every day. So once you know which habit you're already doing consistently, you're adding this before that habit or after that habit. For example, I am going to meditate after I complete my workout. I'm going to meditate after I brush my teeth. Here, you're you're combining the habit that you want to build with the habit that you already are consistent with. So chances of you sticking will be very high. And apart from that, you can take anything. If you want to, call your family a lot more and you're staying away from them, you can put it as a habit. After I, come back from work, I'll make a call to my mom. I'll make a call to my dad. So it is as simple as that. And every time you come back from work, the more initially it won't be automatic. After certain repetitions, the minute you come back, that will be automatic trigger to you. Yes, this is time for me to call my dad or anybody. So this is the good thing about habit stacking. So it is such a beautiful concept. You can add a lot of habits, but there is one drawback. What a lot of people do is they do not think about, for example, for some people, mornings are very busy. Like they need to go to work and there is a lot of things going on. In that busy schedule, if you're adding the habit, chances are you won't be able to follow through. Rather, add it in times when you know you are able to perform that habit. So that way it will become relatively easier. So this is all about habit stacking.
I like this that when we want to add habit, we have to see what is our relaxed time. That will help us to stick to our habits.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Correct. Because I always had this thought Any new habit that you want to put in, you put in your morning hours, which is already a rush of chaotic period of the day.
Yes. So what happens is, they're expecting too much from themselves. Especially in the beginning, I want, it's better you are easy on yourself and do it where you have that time and space for you to actually, do those habits. So when you follow this approach, it will be very easy for you to continue it.
How can we make our good habits more attractive so the stickiness is high and it's part of our personality?
Yeah. So as I mentioned it to you, there might be someone who looks at a junk food and their heart might crave for it. I want it, I want it, I want to eat how it is. But there might be some other person who looks at it and they might not like it at all. What is happening here is a person who is craving it, knowingly or unknowingly, has made it very attractive in their mind. For someone who is not craving it, has made it very unattractive. How people make it attractive or unattractive is dependent on a lot of things. For example, for someone for whom junk food is very like, I want to eat it, for them, they are thinking about how good it tastes. And they'll remember all the times how it made them feel, the taste of it, the crunch of it, all of these things. But for someone who is not liking it, chances are they are thinking about, oh my God, how much calories this might add to my body. This might look so good, but at the end, this will give me some sort of problem. So let me not do it. Same trigger, but thinking is different. Because firstly, you need to work on your mindset. So you need to make something which you know is bad for you very unattractive by actually looking at the reasons. For example, if you are into someone who is shouting a lot, who is angry a lot, and because you're so habituated, you will want to do it. But the minute you become very strongly associated with how anger will impact later, chances are it will become very unattractive for you to follow that path. That is one thing. Second thing you can do is, I use this a lot. So, an year ago, it was like I used to do the cooking and all of that. Now it's not the case. So I was not someone who was fan of cooking, but I loved, reading something or listening to something. Not reading per se, like listening to some sort of, knowledge gain to move ahead. So what I would do is anytime I would start cooking, there would be AirPod put and I would be listening to something, because of which the habit that I was not very fond of became attractive, because I was combining one thing what I like with one thing what I am not very, into it. So you can make it attractive by combining two elements, something that you love to do with something that you need to do. For example, if you are a fan of watching a lot of Netflix and you also have to get a lot of work done, what you can do is, after I get my work done, I'll give myself 30 minutes of Netflix time. This way, you're combining and making it attractive, because the only way you can watch Netflix is when you complete some part of this work. So you can combine this, and that way, that will be, you'll be able to sustain it. That is one thing. Second thing is, look for a group where the behavior that you want to perform, they're already doing it. For example, if you want to, uh, dance, if you want to learn dance, and if you are doing it all alone, chances are you will think of a lot of things. You know, which song should I dance on, and who will teach me all of this. But if you join a dance class, chances are there are already group of people who are doing it. So you will be able to easily do it, right? Because you see them doing it. It is already attractive in so many ways. So you will be able to stick to that habit. So make it as attractive either by bundling or, combining your habit that you need to do with what you want to do, or joining that group where your whatever you want to do is very normal behavior. So
In the process, while we are building habits, There would be some cheat days, right? Like 2 days I go for walk and then I forget. And then it is very difficult to come back to build that
हाँ
habit.
हाँ
So in such situation, how do we handle such setbacks in our journey of habit formation?
So one of the biggest setback people I can think of is, firstly, make it very easy. Very easy. Especially at the start, when, for example, if you want to build a habit of reading, what happens is, because you want to build a habit, what a lot of people do is, yes, I want to get into this habit, and they read for, almost like 1 hour one day. Second day they'll read for 1 hour. Third day they won't have that time and space to read for 1 hour. They'll completely skip it. This mentality is, do it fully or don't do it at all. Rather, take a different approach where initially when you're starting anything, do it for as simple as 2 minutes. It is also called as 2 minute rule. You do that, perform that habit for 2 minutes and then stop. Perform it for 2 minutes and then stop. So this way, what you're doing is, you are first making it as a habit. Despite all the busyness that you can spare 2 minutes, right? Because you can spare 2 minutes for the habit, chances are you'll be able to build it very fast. That is one thing. Second thing is, any day you skip, the reason you're skipping is somewhere you're feeling, yeah, it will take a lot of time for me to do this. So if you are someone who is doing a lot of, like, heavy weightlifting, on that day where you are not in a good mood, not in a right mindset, you can just do a bit of it, not fully. This way, the agenda should be, don't skip it at all. Do bit, but do it. Continue the habit. That's one of the best way to handle failure. And second thing, as I told, make it as easy as possible. Reduce the friction. If you want to go to gym and your gym is 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer away from your house, chances are you want 2-3 days motivation will be there. After that, motivation cannot sustain. Make it easy, reduce the friction. That is how you'll be able to do it or continue doing it. And other thing is, apart from that one, another way or another problem when it comes to handling this failure is, every day there are some moments. Those moments you need to master. For example, soon after waking up, you can directly take your phone and just be scrolling. Or the minute you wake up, you can directly change into your workout clothes and go out. At that moment, whatever you decide will change if you are getting into the habit of doing good things or bad things. That one decisive moment will change everything. So there are some multiple decisive moments throughout the day. So if you learn to master these one, chances are you will be able to protect yourself from those failures and setbacks.
Just it. So, Madhu, there's this quote, right, which says that we are what we repeatedly do. Like when we keep on doing same thing again and again, it becomes part of our personality.
Identity, personality, true.
Yeah. So if you can share brief on what are these identity-based habits, and if we want to change our identity, like the way we show up to the world, or the way like we transition from job to entrepreneurship, where you want to differentiate and show a different identity to the world.
To the world.
So in such situation, how this identity-based habits would help us?
So even before we discuss this, Namrita, I would like to talk about something called how the world is, knowingly or unknowingly, we are moving towards the wrong direction. I'll tell you how. We have been told that we need to set goals. A lot of us are so focused on goals. For example, a goal might be that I want to earn certain income or I want to lose certain weight, all of this. So what problem that will show up is, the minute you set a goal, you are working towards that goal. And a lot of them, the minute they set the goal, they think they are done. But you don't rise to the level of your goal, you fall to the level of your system, which means what are the daily habits that you're doing to get there? You need to focus a lot more on what you're doing every day rather than the goal. That's first thing. Goal, I'm not telling is not important, but it just gives you a sense of direction. What you do on daily basis is important. I'll tell you one simple example. For example, if you are someone who wants to, uh, okay, I do not want to give that example. So I'll just think of another example. Oh, okay. If you want to quit eating chocolate, okay, and you consider yourself that you are a chocolate lover, because this is my, case. So if you are a chocolate lover, somebody comes and offers you a chocolate or dessert, anything chocolatey. So what happens is you can tell them, no, I'm trying to quit or stop eating chocolate. That is one thing. Or you can tell that, no, I don't like chocolates. Either of them. In the first case, when you tell that I am trying to stop eating chocolates, which means deep down you know that I am a chocolate lover, your identity is the same. But you are performing some habit that is not linked to you. With respect to the second case, what you're doing is you are not even identifying as someone who loves chocolate. And the more you repeat the behavior of not liking the chocolate, that will become your identity. For example, I'll give you another example. A lot of people have this tendency to tell that I am very lazy, I am a procrastinator. If you are using such words on yourself, your every thought, every habit will be aligned to that. For example, if you think that you are lazy, and the minute you are about to clean your room, your mind will remind you, yeah, you are lazy now, why are you cleaning it? Are you getting me?
Yes, yes.
So with
So
respect to the,
interesting.
yeah, if the identity that you have formed of yourself is one thing, for example, if you think that you are a very studious kid, if somebody is being jovial to you, your mind deep down is telling you, you are studious, you are very, this kind of a person, you can't be cool, you can't be fun type. So that's the reason identity is like, we are so like, from our childhood, we have been that person, one type of person, and we are, restricting ourselves. And interestingly, because you brought this up, I've actually started a challenge and it's going really well. It's been
Wow.
uh, almost a week doing this challenge regarding, identity shifting. How you can shift your identity and embrace multiple good qualities in yourself. It's going really well. So I just wanted to mention here. And identity is nothing but the more you identify that with yourself, the more you'll repeat those behaviors. So you need to focus on what type of person you need to become rather than telling that, I want to lose certain weight, because think about it. Every new year you decide, I want to exercise every day. And after a month, chances are you won't be able to do it because you're not thinking of, I want to exercise every day. You're thinking of, but I'm not losing weight only. The minute your focus is on that goal and you do not see the output, chances are you will lose out. So rather, you are thinking that I am a type of person who does not miss workout. So you're building that identity, and every day you act depending on that, chances are you will be happy. You are moving ahead. And I'll give you my own example. I'm a content creator as well. Like I create content on YouTube. I've started recently, but I've been doing it on Instagram. If my focus is on the number of likes or the number of followers I have, chances are I will not be motivated. Means my action is dependent on the outside thing. But if I am someone that I am a content creator, I will create content. If I have this identity, chances are I'll be creating content irrespective of people like it, don't like it, doesn't matter. So focus on the type of person you want to become and build habits from that place. And the more you repeat the habit, the more you are uh, making that identity stronger. And one day, whatever result you want to get, whatever goal you want to reach, you will reach there. But if you focus on this, journey will be a lot more easier also.
This is quite interesting. Where we focus on, that will also decide whether we are able to sustain
100%.
our habit.
Agreed, totally agreed. Lot of people focus on result. And one of the biggest problem with respect to result is you won't get it faster. Especially weight loss, all of this, they take time. And we, in our mind, we are thinking, if I work out today or if I work out for a month, I need to lose certain amount of weight. But your result is not linear to your habit. There is a certain graph. Till certain threshold, whatever you do, you're not seeing any result. That is why it is very difficult for people to, stick with good habits. For example, if I run for a day, if I do gratitude for 2 days, nothing will change. But, and in the same way, if I eat chocolate for a day, if I, shout on someone, this will not change anything. But if I keep repeating it, that will be, accumulating, and one day it will blast out, good or bad. So you need to focus on becoming the type of person and focus on the habits that you want to build.
So when you recommend doing something on daily basis, do you also recommend that we track what we are doing?
Yeah, I'll tell you one of the best way to, form a habit and keep going is habit tracking, especially initially, which means today I see, for example, I want to build a habit of calling my parents every day. So what I do is the minute I call them, I immediately track it, which means you just have to write or you can just take the calendar, and the minute you do it on that day, you can make a cross mark. What this does to you is every day when you see that cross mark and you keep doing it, chances are you don't want to miss it because you've been continuing every day. You want to continue that. That is one thing. Second thing is it will be very practical. What happens is in our case, for 4 to 5 days or for a week, we have done a good work. But for past 2 days, something came up and you were not able to do. What with our mind will tell that, are you are not consistent, and it will tell us lot of things. But the minute we go back and see the progress, we will see that, okay, whatever I've been thinking is not true. I've been consistent for 5 days. 2 days, maybe I could not do it. I'll do it next. And it is good if you skip one day, you don't have to make sure that you don't skip the next day. Even if you can do or push yourself a little bit, do that push. I mean, push yourself to do that so that way you will be consistent. And habit tracker is a great way for you to start because you will actually see the progress. And as I told you, if you want to create content or if you want to do anything, this is giving a clear signal now that you're making progress. What
Yes,
better way
yes.
for you to track anything at all? But you should make sure to track the right thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Madhu, you've given a lot of insights about building habits and everything. But now, what I would like to know from your practical experience while dealing with clients and other people, what strategies has worked best for them when it
I
comes to
would
building habits?
I would say every strategy has its own beauty. But two, three strategies that I would highly recommend is one, design your environment. Design or make sure, especially people. le- What I feel is with respect to the people you are hanging out, you are actually average of 5 people you are surrounded by. So make sure you take care of that one thing. That is one thing that is very strongly I suggest, because whatever you become is what you are seeing from them. You are soaking it in. Make sure that is right. The second thing is habit stacking is a greatest way, I would say, because you already have an habit and you just have to, add one more habit to the existing habit. And third thing, make it very easy. For example, if you want to read a book, just start with reading one page. One page, that's it. You might feel, what one page, what will it do? It does not matter. For you, it's not about reading one book. It's about becoming a reader. So when you actually, do these three simple things. One is habit stacking. Second is your environment. Third is make it very simple. You will be able to add such beautiful habits. And if you just follow these three, your life will be changed like crazy in an year.
This is giving me a lot of motivation to pick up more habits and start building my personality. Yeah, now, during our conversation, what you said that even if we start reading one page every day or writing gratitude, the benefit may not come immediately. It would take time. So, in such scenario, how do we balance our desire for instant gratification and stay consistent with habit formation?
Yeah. So, for example, as I mentioned that, in order for you to read one page, you won't feel that immediate instant gratification. That is where you can actually add one more temptation. For example, as I told, if I do this, I'll give this as a reward immediately. That way, what you're doing is you're telling your mind, or you are convincing yourself that if I perform this, I'll be getting this, whatever it might be, which means it should be aligned to you. For example, if you are trying to save up, okay, and you are telling yourself that the minute I save it here, I'll spend it here. It's not consistent. You can tell, if I save this much money for myself, or if I do this much saving every single day, at the end of it, matlab, I'll go for a massage, or you can give something else as an immediate satisfaction. And another great way is when you cross that x na, that progress itself will make you feel wow. And
Right.
as you brought that topic up, our mind is so focused on immediate gratification. It wants to see that immediate result. So that is very important for you to continue it the next day. So make it very satisfying by giving something of this sort, like something to satisfy you. So that is one way for you to immediately get that one and continue going with it.
Amazing, amazing. I really loved all our discussion with those. So you've brought in like an entire book of 100 plus page in front of this discussion, along with your life insights, how you implemented the learning given in the book. It's so nice. The way you made it very simple and easy.
Thank you, Namrata.
I always had this impression that habits are very difficult to form. Once you have a habit, you cannot change. It stays with you for lifetime. And all these myths you just break. Like, oh, this is not. This is how it works. These are the scientific ways of doing it.
Yes, yes. And another thing is, yes, there are habits. People say that, once it is formed, it is very hard to break, especially bad habits. With that is the reason we don't want to get into those cues now. Let's
Mm.
remove those triggers which will make us continue those bad habits, so that we are in the right environment, we are doing the right things. But it is not as hard as people think it to be. We can just master those simple habits, because every habit that you form one day will give you one or the other result. You might not be able to see. If you are working or if you're doing a lot of things, you might think, what will it lead to? But one day it will all make sense. One day everything will work out for you. It's compounding. Negative or positive thing is compounding to come back to you, good or bad.
Correct, correct. This is a very touchy statement. Both are compounding. Like positive and negative both
Yeah,
get compounded.
both get compounded. So I'll tell you about you only. You started YouTube. You've been doing it. See, because you've been showing up every time, you were able to do 20 to 25 lives. It started with, maybe you are not doing it every day, but weekly you are showing up,
Yes,
because of which
yes.
it has become so much easier for you to do. In my case, because I'm very consistently thinking of, okay, I need to put one reel every day. If I see I started when I started and how much progress I've made, I feel wow. Because it is just about the progress. It has nothing to do with number of the result or the external world. It matters, but this is far more important than that.
Correct. Correct. And once it is there, like anybody coming at later point in time, they'll say, "Oh, there is so much of content." It's
Exactly.
uh, s- yes, and in fact, you made me realize that something that I'm doing is also part of this book. It feels really good to know that.
Yeah, because it's not easy.
Hmm.
Nothing, unless you make it easy, it is not easy. And lot of us are just so much in our head and we are making it so difficult that we are not even acting. So these small insights can help you break that and move ahead. So
Thank you for all your insights, Madhu. They are really treasure words, and anybody listening to it, I am to taking a lot of learnings from this session, especially
thank
your
you so much,
personal
Priya.
stories. They're going to connect and stay with me whenever I'm going to do anything. It will, like, your IAS aspirant story, the people with whom you were surrounded with. I never thought that that would have so much of impact in one's career.
Yes, it does. Even I did not know when I was there, but after I came back, after a lot of this work, I got to know, oh my God, this had an impact on me that I could never think of. This proved me a lot of things to myself. And not just this, lot of things that I did or I did not do was because of the group that I was in. That made a very huge impact on
This is going to stay with me.
me.
Okay. Thank you, Madhu. Thank you so much for coming today and for all that you shared. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Namrata, because this was an opportunity for me to, express my thoughts and share whatever I could from my end, and also to revisit that book and soak all of it in for myself also. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yes.